Okay, so officially, hello everyone. Sorry for the short technical issue. I think it's always funny when you go live, and this is the new reality now, up to 2 years of having fun in the live stream. Andrea Balach, welcome officially to DevLive. This is a new edition of live interviews of DevTalks 2022. We're questioning great speakers, great partners, and you'll find out what an agenda of a large-scale conference means. So today I'll have the pleasure to have beside me a very dear guest. So I'm honored to present you Viktor Farcic, developer advocate at Upbound. Welcome, Viktor, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you for having me.
So I think everybody is curious how it is to be a developer advocate. Can you tell us more about what does the role means and what does the role means in Upbound?
Yeah, so it's hard to say what does the role mean because in different companies have different definition of what developer advocate is. I have my own, which does not necessarily comply with everybody. But from my perspective, developer advocate is a person who is working with developers and helping them out, working with community, right? So it's both bi-directional, working with people, trying to help them out, and also feeding back to the company where the person works, and influencing the roadmap in a way, right? Hey, so because developer advocate is in contact with massive amount of people, so it's very useful information that I'm receiving, not only the information I'm giving. Now, the problematic part is that developer advocacy, when taken seriously, is complicated because it can be about many different things. You get a lot of different questions, you get a lot of requests for help, and so on and so forth. So it's a fairly senior role that I think should be filled with people who already have significant engineering experience, right? So even though some developer advocates choose to be developer advocates from the very beginning, I believe that the best advocates are really people who spent years coding or being engineers in whatever field, and then at one moment say, hey, actually I can share what I know with the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's the best part in the IT community about sharing.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much open source spirit.
Yes, that's true. So we saw a lot of your work that you did for DevOps Paradox, and we are a little bit curious what it's behind DevOps Paradox. Can you tell us more about the work behind the interviews?
Yeah, so it all started a while ago when a publisher approached me and asked me, hey, would you like to publish yet another book? This one will be different. We want to answer the question, what is DevOps? And we would like you to actually speak with a bunch of people, do some kind of interviews, and try to figure out what people think that is, right? And we ended up with the title DevOps Paradox, essentially because everybody gave a different story of what DevOps is. So it is really paradoxical. But from there on, me and Darin Pope, my co-host, thought, hey, actually, why don't we continue this in the podcast fashion? And from there on, we approximately half of the time we speak with people about different subjects. It can be anything. And the other half of the time, just me and him tackle random subjects, right? It can be really anything.
Okay. You quite wrote some books. I mean, you have a few books on DevOps topics. Can you tell us a few words about what you will recommend for our audience to read and prepare, I don't know, for the future evolution?
Yeah. First and the most important, to begin with, I don't even know how many books I wrote anymore. 7, 8, 9. I don't know, many. But the first and most important thing that your audience should know about those books is that you should not read them. You should not spend your money, waste your money on those books for a simple reason that they are very hands-on, right? I'm not much into talk, theory. It's very hands-on. And I tend to tackle subjects that are very recent, very cutting edge. And that means that 2 years later, my books are obsolete, deprecated, too old. So unless you find, I think that I have only one book that is less than 2 years old, DevOps Catalog, that's still okay. The rest, gone, disappeared, too old. Don't waste your time with old technology.
You're very humble.
Yeah, as you can see, I'm not good at marketing my own stuff.
Yeah, it's good that they are out there. So let the audience decide, and we'll come back to it. And I mean, we can also introduce some latest books, and maybe the audience can read them till the event, or who knows.
Yeah, who knows?
So what are you working on right now, or what are you working on normally? I don't know. What product are you developing, if you can talk about it? Or
that's complicated thing to answer, because to begin with, I have like double life. Part of my time, I work in a company like everybody else, so part of the time is dedicated to whatever I need to do for that company. And in that case, I work for Upbound. There we go. With a company behind Crossplane, so I do a lot of material and a lot of code and random things related to Crossplane, which, by the way, you should try it. And the other half is, call it my hobby, right? And that's the things that I do, all in the same spirit, community, helping people, but outside of company time. And that's like that podcast that I mentioned, you mentioned, YouTube videos, answering people's questions. I think that like I probably have on average 3, 4, 5 random meetings a day that are nothing to do with business. It's just kind of people, hey, can you help me with that? And then I send them calendar link, and then they schedule time. So part of the time goes to company, part goes to me playing around with random things, and part goes to helping people. So literally anybody, ping me, I'll do my best to help you. That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, you bear a huge responsibility. I mean,
no, quite the opposite. I tell you what you should do, and then if it fails in production, it's your problem.
Okay, no practical involvement. So how do you get inspired, and what resources do you use to learn and to be up to date?
Yeah, so think of me as being a kid, like maybe 5 years old, 6 years old, that likes to play with toys. And now, I don't know if you have kids, but one thing I learned with my kid is that whichever toy you give to that kid, that is interesting for half an hour max, and
Yeah.
then throw it away and give me another one. I'm very similar, right? I may spend more than half an hour with a toy, but basically what I like doing is just playing with new technology, with new tools, projects, platforms, and so on and so forth. So that's what motivates me, right? Being having an opportunity to figure out something new every, maybe not day, but week, right?
Okay, that sounds engaging. Yeah.
Yeah. So I get paid to play with things. So what can be better than that?
I can say that in a sort of a way. I don't know. Yes, I think it's great asset to do live conferences and interact with speakers, and I think
Yeah, that's another thing. People invite me to conferences. I get to travel for free on top of all that. So it cannot get better than that.
Yeah, that's true. You have a great role. Can you give us a sneak peek to your keynote at DevTalks? You have the topic, "The future is about clouds."
Yes, it's so the story is that everybody's multi-cloud today. And now some people are going to say, no, I'm not multi-cloud. I use only AWS or I use only Google Cloud. But that's absolutely not true, because the moment you start using two services from different places, like maybe you're using Elastic, maybe you're using Datadog, maybe you're using GitHub. If you're using GitHub, and everybody does, and you use AWS, you're multi-cloud kind of. Cloud is really about providing services outside, right, in public, and so on and so forth. Doesn't have to be public. So the idea is that everybody's multi-cloud one way or another, depending on how we define it, and we need to now figure out how do we manage all that, right? There is a bunch of different things, and given that nobody can sit in only one place, in one cloud, how do we actually put all that together? How do we manage all those APIs and control planes of different cloud solutions? And how do we build our own control plane?
Okay, that sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
So I think we're approaching our final question. It was really, a short introduction, but I'm looking forward to talk with you and network more at DevTalks. So do you have a message for the audience, for the 8,000 developers and IT professionals that will join DevTalks, or any facts that you want to share with us?
Just keep learning, right? The most important thing for every engineer is to constantly learn new things, right? And conferences are a great way of doing that, on top of other things like, networking. In my case, it's opportunity to meet people, especially since we are all working in remote companies. Meet face to face, but learning really kind of come. It will be fun. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Thank you, Viktor. That was really a pleasant discussion, and thank you for sharing with us these insights.
Thank you.
It means a lot for the audience and the team that you took your time and you will be part of our lineup this year. So I think we're approaching rapidly to DevTalks 2022, having less than 2 months till the event. So join us and meet you there on 8th and 10th of June, online and also in person. Get inspired by fantastic speakers. See you next week. Bye.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.